Hi everyone, welcome back to another online class. My name is Gloria and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Are you loving the new holiday catalog? There are so many fun bundles and stamps to play with and it's hard to choose where to start. Today I decided to share this beautiful card which can be used for so many occasions in the fall. I'm thinking Thanksgiving, masculine and fall birthdays, maybe a thinking of you or sending positive thoughts. We will be using the Autumn Goodness Bundle. It has some great sayings and fall images. My favorites, though, is the Plant Kindness and Harvest Love. Of course, we have something for Thanksgiving as well, and For You can be used for anything. It comes with matching framelits that cut out many of those images, but also we have a fence that can be cut out and be used to accent so many things, both for the fall and for outside of fall. Here are the dimensions for the card that we are going to make today. There are just a few quick and easy cuts. And we're going to start by doing the focal image. We just need several scraps. We're going to start with our soft suede ink pad, and we're going to stamp the images all at the same time. Now here's the stamp that we're going to play with. We're going to do a fall version. And I always ask myself, foam or no foam. This is a photopolymer stamp, so you see that there is no foam there, so you'll need your foam mat to get the best image. So we want to put our scraps on that foam mat. And we're simply going to tap, tap, tap using the full surface of the ink pad. Make sure that it's well inked, and then just stamp straight down and lift straight up. Now I noticed right away that's a very, very dark image, and when I color I want the colors to come through. So actually I'm going to this time turn the paper over and stamp off onto junk cardstock first, and then do the second image on here so that I have a lighter image that I can color in. We are going to use the soft suede full strength for the wheelbarrow. So we're going to tap, tap, tap. And again, center that, stamp straight down, count to 1, 2, 3, and lift straight up. We'll set that aside and work on our focal image. Now I've gone ahead and pre-colored part of this. I love using my blendabilities, and I want to give you some tips on how to use those blendabilities. There's all kinds of different ways that you can color. You can use watercolor pencils, or markers, but I love the blendabilities because I love how it blends the light and dark and gives shading at the same time. So what I want to show you is that I've already colored part of the image here, but I've taken my dark blendability, and this is what it looks like here, and you'll notice that there is a fine tip side and a brush side. I like to work with the fine tip side, so I've gone ahead and already marked or followed the lines of the image. So what I love about a lot of our Stampin' Up! Images is that if you look here, there's some shading that you see going on here and here. And so I've just taken my darker blendability and followed those lines and given it some shading. The next thing I'm going to do is just take my light one, and you can use either tip, but I tend to like to use my fine tip better. And you're just going to bring the color in towards the center. So I start from where I had done the highlights, and I use small circular motions to bring it in. Also know that you can also leave some areas slightly lighter or even white altogether. So I'm just going to very carefully do some little small circular motions to blend or bring those colors into the center. Oop, there we go. You can always go back and add more, but I'm going over the darker ones with my lighter one. And you get some nice natural shading. It looks like this. You can also go and do the little pumpkins at the top. They're so small though that I don't really see too much detail, so I'm just going to leave that as is. So on here I've done the same thing with the old olive. I've done the darker one first with the fine tip on the line markings, and then use small circular motions to do the lighter olive. So I used old olive on the leaves, I used daffodil on the corn. For the apples, I used just my real red watercolor pencil because I couldn't find my blendability. And then I used a purple Posy for the little pear. Set that aside, and now we can go ahead and cut that out. To cut it out, what's nice about this project is you can do all your cutting at the same time. So we're going to use the fence. We're going to use this great brass foil with the little wheel. Then we're going to use that to cut out the wheelbarrow. And then lastly, we'll cut out, all at the same time, we'll cut out the pumpkin image. So we just set that on our magnetic platform with a clear plate underneath it. Line that up, and you can send that through the Big Shot all at one time and cut all the images out at the same time to be super efficient. When you're done, you have these great images all cut out for you in one fell swoop. We'll set those aside. And next I want to work on the base card. So we're going to use the old olive, and we'll fold it in half. And we're going to use the embossing folder. It's a new 3D Evergreen one. You might not have seen it, but it is so gorgeous. And I'm going to love using this for our Christmas cards too. I always look for the Stampin' Up label, and you just scooch this in, place it about there, and then put it on your mat. Now, just a little tip. I know a lot of you guys still have the platform, the old platform, so that's what I'm going to show today. You're going to open up to tab 1, set it down. This is a 3D embossing folder, so you can put this directly on that platform and just use your blue embossing plate. Now, a little tip. If you were to place it like this directly over the whole thing, you would end up with a crease mark here where this plate ends. So my tip to you is when you could go to put it through, have that plate be just slightly in front. So here's my embossing folder, slightly in front of that. So your sandwich, if you were to see it from the side, looks like this. So you see how that's just very slightly in front. And then you run that through your Big Shot. When you're done, you end up with this beautiful embossed evergreen forest. And I'm definitely planning on using this embossing folder way beyond Christmas. It is so pretty. It'll be great for all kinds of masculine cards, outdoor cards. I'm so excited to have this one. I'm going to take my little piece of pumpkin pie cardstock. This is 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm taking my lovely labels punch. So it normally sits like this. We want to slide it to open it up. That's how it punches. And this note, you notice this is kind of a little scrap. And sometimes they're difficult to maneuver. So what I like to do is take a Post-it. This is just our normal 3x3 Post-it. I feel for the tacky side, which is right here. And I just tear or cut a little strip. And this becomes a little handle for me, so I can maneuver it. So I just use the sticky part of the Post-it and see how it becomes a handle. We're going to slide it in to the punch, and I always like to turn around and make sure everything's lined up properly. Even though there are channels, I'm sometimes not the best at lining things up, even with the channel guide. So I can always turn it upside down and see where I want to punch it. Then I take it, put that punched end back on the sticky part, and then do the other side as well. Slide it in, and then see it on the other side, center it, and then give it a good punch. When you're done, you get this fun little label. And what I love about this punch is you can make labels of any length, and you can do basically 6 different sizes with 2 different edges. So it's a super versatile punch called the Lovely Labels Punch. We're going to bring our mat back in, and we want to stamp our saying. This time I'm going to use Espresso ink, and I want to do a Thanksgiving card, so I'm going to ink up the thankful. Stamp it down, and I love its photopolymer so you can see right through it. Lift up, and then I'm going to do for you. And again, remember, you can use the for you for any occasion. But today we're going to do Thanksgiving. So I'm going to just look through and stamp it down, 1, 2, 3, and lift, and there you have a cute little tag. Now, if you want, you can add a little accent. So let me make sure I put down a scratch paper on top of this. You can take this beautiful sheath stamp, ink it up, and I'm just going to put some little vines on the edge there, on both sides. So re-ink, and on the other side of the label, just to give it an additional little accent of vines. we're going to take that same sheath stamp, it has like wheat, a bundle of wheat, ink that up in our Pear Pizzazz ink. And I always like to give a little surprise on the inside of the card, so stamp that in the corner for a fun, beautiful accent. And now we're ready to put our card together. We're going to put the fence on first, and I'm going to use my glue dots for that. I always keep a little lid on top, so I'm going to pull that lid back, find the next glue dot, and simply touch the back side of the fence onto that glue dot. I don't touch the glue dots, and there it is. You can see where it ended up there. So we're going to just put a couple on the two ends. So I just touch the next one and pull it off. And then I go to the opposite end, and I just put on the long vertical pieces of wood. All right, so now we're going to take it and place it about an inch up from the bottom. Place our fence right across like so. And you'll see that there's some extra fence, so I simply flip it over and I use my scissors to give it a little haircut. Trim that off from the front side. There we go. And there we go, we have a little fence. Next we're going to add the wheelbarrow. I like to do that with Stampin' Dimensionals, using the mini ones. So I'm just going to peel those off and plop them on. I put one at the end. 4 should be more than enough. Put one at this end. You need to peel off the lids two-sided, so there's the lid that needs to come off. And we're going to set the little wheelbarrow somewhere around here. We're going to add this gorgeous, cute little wheel that we've done in the brass. Again, I go to my handy dandy glue dots and I put it right in the center. It'll be hidden by the center of the spoke there, and put it right there. Next, we're going to take our pumpkin image, and I think I'm going to tuck the pumpkins behind, or so that it looks like it's inside the wheelbarrow. So I go to my glue dots, my mini dimensionals again. So we place the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back side, and you notice you can see the blendabilities markers through the back side. That's perfectly normal and natural. When you color in, it lays a lot of color, and that's normal. So we're going to turn that back over and just tuck it into the wheelbarrow. Or you can even tuck it so that it's partly sitting out. But actually it doesn't make sense to have apples out there, so I'm just going to tuck it so that we can see a little of everything. There we are. Next we're going to put our saying on, and I want to add a fun accent using our braided linen trim. It's a small piece here, about 4 inches long, and I cut it, and what's kind of fun about it is that you can use your fingernails and kind of fray or spread the end. Isn't that cute? And we're going to do that to both ends. Just kind of, and if you don't have fingernails, you can use a pair of scissors gently, but don't cut it. There we go. And now we're going to put that on our card. So tear a small piece of tape or lay down your favorite adhesive. Just put a little bit about there. And what we're going to do is simply fold it over, making a little loop like that, and then set that on top of that adhesive that you set out. I want it to kind of spread out slightly side to side, so you can adjust it while it's on there. And even put your saying on top and see what it looks like. I like that look. So now I always secure all my embellishments with an additional piece of adhesive, whatever you would like to use. So I put another piece of tape or adhesive on there. And then lastly, I'm going to put the saying on with dimensionals as well. So I flip that over and we place that on top. Now I love to bring all the colors together. So we have pumpkin, we have soft suede, wheelbarrow, and we even use that for the image. So I want to bring in a piece of soft suede cardstock to give it a nice matte, and then you simply flip it over, put tape in the 4 corners, and you have a beautiful card that looks like this. And then of course when you open it up, it has a neat little accent or embellishment in there as well. So here are 2 cards, one for Thanksgiving and one for just kind of thinking of you, plant kindness, harvest love. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned some fun ideas using this great fall bundle. As always, you save 10% when you buy our bundled products. If you need any supplies and don't already have a demonstrator, you can shop anytime on my website here. And please use the August Hostess code shown. If you like these ideas and tips, please like this video with a thumbs up below and subscribe to be notified when I do my next video. I'm jumping right into Christmas cards next, so stay tuned. Stay safe and healthy and cool. See you then.